hey, there's this cool game called Civilization you can play on there. I was like, oh, that looks fun. And then fucking like 4 or 5 hours later, I immediately dropped fucking like $1,400 on a laptop.
Ooh, jeez. See, I've never. I don't think I've ever bought a laptop. No, I haven't. I've never bought a laptop, and I don't know. I'm a pretty impulsive buyer. I usually spend money on food or games, and but I didn't start. I don't know. Probably started investing this past. No, in 2020 is when I started investing, but I started. I've been reading up on investing and money management for years now. So
Yeah.
like climbing out of my school debt hole was not fun.
Dude, I kind of regret college almost.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of options I could have gone down. I should have gone to a junior college right out of the gate, and then I should have transferred to an in-state public school. But instead, I went straight to a private school that was out of state, which I don't think it would have changed the price all that much since I was out of state. But it was, I don't know, it was $32,000 a year. Like it was something stupid, and I mean, the sole reason I went to college was because I wanted to play sports. Had nothing to do with school, and that was like the largest mistake of my life.
I mean, like, I got my degrees, and by all accounts, I was a fairly good student.
Yeah.
Despite like, I didn't put any effort into school. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my degree.
Right.
I literally I kind of had a fight before I went to college with my parents, and I was like, I want to take a year off and blah 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 and figure out what I want, and they were basically like, fuck you, no, and I just got pressured into going.
Mm. That's tough. That's not fun.
Yeah, not loving that one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd be pissed off about that one. How long did I take off from school? Um, oh lordy, I don't know. I have no idea how long I took off from school. Now I'm thinking about it.
I mean, I basically ended up taking like my year off that I wanted. Anyway,
Okay,
I just
yeah.
took it after college. I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I don't really know what I want to do with my life, and I just ended up working like part time at a
Dude, I hate working so much.
grocery store.
And I like it's so
Same.
bad. It's so bad. Um like when I was in therapy talking about it, my therapist was like, I can't see you working a 9 to 5. You're gonna go insane doing that. And I was like, I know. I was like, that's why it's been so hard, like applying to jobs, like forcing myself to do it because I just don't. I do not wanna. Wait, why is this not? Dude, I hate when Minecraft does this.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. That you were like saying you were applying places and blah 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 blah, and you're like, yeah, I'm looking for a job, and then you didn't seem very enthusiastic about
Mm-mm.
the
Nope.
whole prospect.
Nope. Nope. Don't want to do it. And I like because I know what's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna get there 3, 4 months in, I'm gonna start losing my mind, and I'm gonna want
mean,
out.
But believe it or not, you'll never guess what I'm doing 3 4 months into my job.
You are going nuts, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm kind of just waiting for them to fire me, to be honest with you.
Really? See, I don't know. I struggle. She was just like, you should probably have like some kind of creative job, and I was like, you know what? I probably should, but I don't. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this.
mm-mm.
This whole like, I don't fucking know, dude. I shouldn't have to sit there and beg my boss to get 4 days off to be able to go on vacation.
4 days that's crazy. Like for
As
4 days.
my boss has been off the entirety of last month. He worked 4 days last month, by the way.
That's so bad. Like, I don't know. I hate the idea of. I hate the idea of working for somebody else and building their dream.
Well,
It's
that's the thing too. Is my dream doesn't really involve that much working or that much money or that much stuff.
yeah,
Like, I would be perfectly happy never owning a house. I would be perfectly happy like if I could get passive income up to like 20 grand a year or something. I would probably get, to be honest with you.
ooh. I'm sneezing. Hold on. Wait, no, it disappeared. Oh, that's the worst. 20,000 a year. Really? You just live off of 20,000, and I guess if you're investing slowly that way, it'd still grow over time, and so it'd eventually grow up. But yeah, I think when I was super young, I was like, dude, I gotta make millions and billions and trillions of dollars. And I definitely, as I've gotten older, I was like, at some point you're gonna meet this threshold where it doesn't matter. And I was like, so I just want to make sure that I leave a legacy for my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids. And
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like I'm not planning on having kids. I don't
yeah.
feel the need to build like this whole empire for myself. When
Yeah.
I don't want any part of that.
Yeah. I respect the hell out of it because I definitely want to build an empire just because I wanna. I'm definitely like I want a real estate empire. I think real estate is I just enjoy real estate. Less from like the cash flow is cool. Like if you get a really good deal, you can get cash flow. But I just like the idea of like how it appreciates, and then like using that to I don't know. Stocks are a different thing, but that's probably going to be the more I think about it, the more I realize I'm probably just going to end up investing in like freaking on ETFs and stuff like that because I don't want to deal with. I like investing in some individual stocks, but it's actually kind of tedious and a lot of work to sit there and look at individual stocks.
Give me 1 second.
Yep.
I think that's fun. I think it's interesting to go like look at companies and look at their future trajectories and whatever, and like the coolest example I have of that is 3D printing.
Ooh, that's
Where
interesting.
there is exactly one rare earth mining company in the northern hemisphere that does anything at all with that.
Really? That's crazy.
And based on their projected forecast, they expect 3D printing to grow like pretty significantly. And I don't know whether I agree with their forecast or not, but if they're right and it does blow up like 900% or
Yeah.
whatever they're claiming it will, like that's kind of nuts.
See, I like looking at their peaks or like looking at where their like highest price point and how consistent they were in staying in like that range, and then looking at their current price and like if it's significantly lower, going over to their financials and reading their financials and looking at how healthy their financials are. Because for me, when I look at that, I'm like, okay, so this stock is at a discount, so I get to buy this at a discount. But I don't like doing. I can't imagine doing that for like 8 hours a day, all day.
That's the thing too, is I am pretty like happy doing trends and shit like that. If I have to go into like specific financial numbers, like I'm more of a statistics person than like an actual like accounting math numbers person.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just not I'm horrible at math in every sense of the word. I just don't like it. Doesn't make sense to me. Blah 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 sort of thing. But there was something about making money work for me that is just incredibly appealing because I'm lazy as all get out.
Well, and honestly, my problem with school in general is I never thought I was dumb
Yeah.
when it came to school, but I I didn't think I was very good at math,
Yeah.
and like I was the one person in the entirety of my school year that did not take what is that weird ass math? Like
Calculus?
trig or
Ooh, trig.
calculus. Yeah, calculus. I
Yeah.
was the one person that did not take calc senior year. I was like, I'm not fucking doing this. And they're like, oh, but you have to. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not taking this. My dad got involved, yelled at school. It was a great time.
It was a great time. That's hilarious. I took pre-cal and I was like, nah, this is bullshit. It's like I ain't doing this. And I mean, I struggled through it. I don't know how I passed. I'm sure I got some help from teachers shifting grades. But
Yeah.
I was the same. Like, I never felt like I was dumb or anything. I just was very unmotivated. I didn't see the purpose in what I was learning. Because I was like, I'm not interested in any of this.
And then like I get to college and part of psychology is just like statistics, and that's how you sort through the data that you collect as a psychologist. So I ended up like I was dreading the statistics class. And I was like, oh no, I don't know that I can pass this.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. It's math. Am I gonna have to cheat? Like, and then I get into stats class and I walk away with 108% highest in the fucking class, and it turns out I'm pretty good at statistics.
That's cool. See, I also thought, like, in school I didn't like to read. And I was like, no, I love reading. I just don't like to read the dog shit that they make us read. So, I mean, it's funny what
I
you'll learn
kinda-
about yourself.
I kind of had that problem too, where I walked up to the teacher. I'm like, yeah, I read a lot for like pleasure, and it's kind of what I enjoy doing, which is true.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I read your entire school reading list, which is completely untrue. And then I was like, yeah, can I read one of my books and do a book report on that instead?
See, that's so
They're like,
cool.
sure.
I should have done that. So I didn't even think about that. I just sat there and didn't read the books, and I used Cliff Notes. And I got my 70 and passed. And they're like, I remember like having. Good thing is like I've always been pretty good at bullshitting. So.
Dude, I figured that one out real quick.
Yeah, so like Oscar, what do you think? Well, it's interesting the dynamic between this character and how it affects the overall story, and I'm just interested in how the author is going to portray them moving into future chapters. It really pulled on some heartstrings, and like, oh wow, that's incredible. I know. Oscar, did you even read Flock? No. Screw that book. Like I probably, what is it? Tale of Two Cities. I think I read the first page, and we spent 3 months on that book, and I was
Okay.
there was just no way.
I like learning,
Mm-hmm.
and I've kept like my love of learning and like my curiosity about shit into adulthood.
Right.
And I would say that I managed to keep that despite the school system, not because of it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
school is the fucking crusher of dreams and creativity, I swear to God.
Oh my. Well, yeah. You
If-
start
if
at a young
creativity
age.
goes to die,
Yeah. You start at a young age where you're like you draw this. Okay. Color this. Okay. You didn't color within the lines. That's wrong.
right?
What? Why? Why is it
Or
wrong?
even math. Oh, hey, you used the wrong formula.
Yeah.
Oh, but my formula is better. And CC, look here. And
Yep.
nope.
Nope. Doesn't work. Formula's
Or,
wrong.
Like, have you seen how they do math nowadays?
But I've seen some things and I'm like I'm not gonna be able to help my kid.
Yeah, that.
Like trying to figure it out. I mean,
Like,
maybe because
what?
I'll be more interested. I'll be more like involved, and I'll be like, okay, I need to help my kid. Maybe I'll be able to. But I like look at what they're doing, and I'm like, why is it so complicated?
It literally looks like they're learning fucking Mandarin.
Yeah. Why do we have a whole bunch of shapes all over the place? I don't understand. What is it?
They're like drawing lines and
Yeah.
like doing these dots and shit. I'm like, what the fuck
I'm
happened
like,
here?
what are you doing? Well, that we're learning how to. I'm doing math. No, you're not. You're drawing, and at the end of it, you pull some numbers together.
Dude, and I guarantee you too. I could not, if you gave me an entire day, could not do a single problem of long division.
Yeah, no, I don't know what. Like even now, I think about like doing normal division, and like long division. I can't remember how to do it step by step. I like think about it, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And
Yeah.
then I remember my teachers telling me like, oh, you're not gonna have you're not always gonna have a calculator on yourself.
Dude, bullshit.
Well, you can eat shit because I pull my phone out whenever I want. And anytime I need to do some math, I'm like, if it's not simple like division or simple multiplication or addition or subtraction, I pull my calculator out. I'm like, there's no reason for me to not use it. There's, there's never. I don't see myself in a situation like I'm not gonna go to a competition where I have to do speed math.
Yeah, right. Are you gonna be a math?
You're right. Like,
I'm not.
nope, hell no. So, and I would love for a job to be like, I need you to put your calculator away. I'm like, what? No.
Literally, I was told by my job that I am required to have a calculator, which I don't. I use my phone because I work from home. But they're like, yeah, we do a lot of math, and you're gonna need a calculator.
See,
I'm like, oh, well, that's nice.
because they don't want to deal with the bullshit. Like, we're not going to sit here and wait for you to do your math. Time is money.
Yeah,
We-
literally, they're hilariously enough paying me to be here,
yeah.
which still kind of blows my mind because I don't feel like I'm contributing that much value, but they haven't fired me yet.
Yeah. I still have a job. That's cool. Wait, did my water potion already go out? What the heck? Has it already been 8 minutes? Hello?
No,
I didn't realize.
I don't know what I want to do like as a job though.
It's definitely one of those things where, like, it's not easy to think. Like, I guess it's easy to think about different jobs. Maybe as a kid, like when you're younger and not actually working, it's definitely easier to think about. You're like, I think I want to do this, or I want to do this, and then you get into the workforce and you're like, what kind of bullshit do I have to deal with today? You know?
Well, because like to be honest with you, the best. Yes, perfect. Please do my job for me. Hold on, I just fucked something up somewhere. The best job that I can come up with for myself in my head
Yeah.
is like I would like to do a job where like probably a librarian or something. Where it's like
Ooh.
I can sit there and interact with people that are interested and semi-intelligent,
Yeah.
and I would like to work like 4 days a week.
That'd be nice. I wonder, like, being in a library, and like I love going to a library. Like I enjoy like sitting at Barnes and Noble and like looking through books.
Yeah, or like Barnes and Noble or something.
That seems super nice and chill. But
Like I read enough in my spare time
yeah,
that I can happily talk with basically anyone about books. I've even read, and I'm not trying to like come off as racist or anything, because
No.
it's apparently what it's called, urban literature.
Ooh, I've never read that. I've heard about it. I've never read about it or read it. Did you like it?
I could definitely tell that it was aimed at a target audience that probably wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. I didn't dislike
Interesting.
it.
Yeah, interesting. I've heard about it, but I've never read it, and I don't actually care to read it. Urban literature. I know what they're targeting. It's cool, dog. Target, baby.
Target away.
Yeah. I haven't. I want to get back into reading like fantasy. If I'm being honest,
I
honest.
love fantasy. Fantasy is by far my favorite genre, and it's not even close.
It's so good. It's so enjoyable, and I just haven't read it. I haven't read it in a long time. The few times, maybe in the past 10 years that I have, I like sit down for like 7 hours and just read.
What style of fantasy books have you read? Because I have a couple of series I've read that are like just the best series that I've ever read.
Yeah. Only thing that I've really read through is I read through Harry Potter. I tried to read through what the heck is it? Bella.
It's funny since I watched all of the movies 2 weeks ago. Twilight.
Twilight. There we go. I tried to, and I couldn't do it. Couldn't freaking do it.
I I enjoyed that, and it was decent.
Yeah, I respected it for what it was, but yeah, no, I hated it. There was a book called. Have you ever seen October Skies?
No,
Okay,
is that a movie?
it's an incredible movie. It like when
Yeah.
it is such a good movie. But there's a book called Rocket Boys, and basically it's about it's. I mean, I guess it's not technically fantasy, but it's about a group of guys that basically get really interested in rockets in space, and it's like it's during like the Cold War, and like Sputnik is like the Russia has just launched their satellites and U.S. is launching theirs, and so it's this whole story about how these kids from this small coal mining town are basically get out of that town by becoming really really interested in rockets, and I think it's based off of a true story. Um, Not fantasy, but such an like I read it in middle school and then watched October Skies, the actual movie, and it's just, one of my favorite books I've ever read. It was so good. Which I think Harry Potter's probably the only like true fantasy series that I read through.
It's funny because I think Harry Potter is like, I don't know, what's a movie reference, or like I'm sure there's a good reference for this. It's like the shit, like how the Cubs were super bad. It's like the Cubs of baseball.
You don't like it that much?
No, no, I don't.
Why,
Actually.
why not? I'm curious.
Um,
What is it about it?
the writing is super bad. Plot is fairly easy to poke holes in. Honestly, the writer is kind of weird too, like as a person.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I mean, I read it when I was like 10 or 12 with my grandma, and that was fun when I was like 10 or 12.
Yeah,
But
but everything
I
after
don't know.
that.
I guess nowadays I prefer more mature fantasy.
Yeah, I've read. There was a. I'm trying to think of the book, but it had in the title it was something city, and I can't remember. There's like a whole series of it. They made a movie about it.
City of Bones.
Yes, there we go. Right? Let me see. Let me look at the city of.
And that this is exactly
Yes.
what I mean, by the way, when I say I would enjoy just talking about books all day as a profession.
Yeah, City of Bones is what I read, and then I didn't read. I think I read like maybe two of the books. One of the things I hate about books that I really really struggle with is like not knowing what order they're supposed to be in. Now I don't know if she did a good job. I mean, I was like in high school when I read it, but it drives me nuts when I like read a book and I'm like, oh, this is really really good, and then I realize it's like the third book, and I get pissed off and I don't want to read the books anymore because I want to read it in order. I don't know if you're that way, but it
Yeah.
bothers me so much. But so I've read that. Yeah, I don't know of any other. Like I know I've read quite a few other books, but I don't know if I couldn't tell you what the names are. I can't remember. Mm-mm-mm. What's your favorite series?
Funny is I'm linking you to it right now.
Ooh. Oh, dude, why are there so many drowned over here? What the heck? They're just everywhere. They're just.
So there's oh wait, is that O3? Yeah. O2. So you know the whole thing with like the what is that? Game of Thrones. How
Yeah.
everyone is all mad that George R.R. Martin like never releases books.
Yeah.
He's one of two authors that get stereotyped for that. The other author, one of my favorite authors, has said that he's gonna release book 3 for a decade now and has not, and I fucking hate him for it.
Aw, that's horrible.
So my favorite series is just sitting there completely unfinished.
Yeah, that's horrible. That sucks.
But literally, like, the day that book comes out, I'm sick. Family member died. something happened.
Yeah,
And
don't.
I'm gonna sit there and fucking wait by the door at midnight to go get it and read it because I've been waiting fucking like 7, 8 years for this shit.
Do not call me. I won't be around.
Yeah, no, that's like the one day of my entire life that my phone will be off. Like,
That's awesome. What are you doing? Reading. Are you really? Thought you were sick. Nah, bro.
no,
No.
I'm sick of waiting.
Yeah. That's what my family and I did for the Harry Potter books. We'd like go sit at Barnes and Noble and we'd just go to the movies and wait like hours on end for the movie to release.
I wish I had a Barnes and Noble like closer to me. There's one in the town where I grew up, but it's like 25, 30 minutes away.
Okay.
I can't be fucked to drive all the way down there just to go to a bookstore.
Of course, yeah. Mine's like 5 minutes away. So I don't go often because every time I go, I end up coming back with something. So that's why I prefer going to the library.
Honestly, so when I was on vacation, we ended up going in this weird, like, kind of occulty style witch store or something. It was like this girl took her personality and made it into a store,
Interesting.
and that's what she did. And part of what she enjoyed was reading, so she had like a section of just discount books that people could buy, and I bought like 4 or 5 books that cost me like $7 total.
See, I love discount bookstores. There's a discount bookstore here called Second and Charles. I'm sure there's some in your area.
Yeah.
It seems, and so I probably like my wife and I just on business books probably 2 years ago, which I've read through a few of them. Spent probably $500 on book. Yeah, and like I will spend a ungodly amount of money on books. I truly want to have a like. I've thought about like houses I want. Like I don't necessarily want a mansion just to have a mansion, but I want a mansion just so I can have a massive library.
Literally, that is, I am not kidding. Like, I am 100% serious when I say this. That I would literally go live in a tent, except that I need a place for my books.
Yeah. There's something about books. I don't like. I've had people that are like, why don't you just like buy a Nook or something? I'm like, dude, it's not the same.
It is fucking terrible.
I can't like. I don't want to. Oddly enough, as many hours as I stare at a screen when I read, I hate reading on the computer, or any screen for that matter. Like I don't want to stare at a screen and swipe as I'm reading through a book.
I've done it and like it's fine, I guess.
Yeah. And I like if I had to, I'd do it. But if I had the choice between holding a physical book and turning the page and smelling that, I'm 100% doing that.
Yeah, sure.
Each time I open a book, I pass out.
Oh, Scotty, how was your heart-to-heart with Reed?
It was actually really good. Like,
What did you guys talk about?
I actually opened his mind to a lot of things with depression and helped him kind of see a lot that I think that he couldn't look past. So, you know how like, I was saying how he kind of misses the old Scotty, the college Scotty?
Yeah.
We came to the conclusion that he was idolizing me, like the old Scotty back then. But we also came to the conclusion, I was like, so Reed, it sounds like you almost felt like I was the perfect Christian back in college. Like I was this perfect image of a Christian to you. Because when we first became friends, I talked to you about all of my past trauma and how I became a Christian. And I was like, it sounds like you were idolizing that version of me just because you didn't know anything about me. And I was able to give you a whole different perspective of Christianity. I was able to tap into the supernatural, like the supernatural of Christianity, the spiritual warfare of Christianity, and you've never experienced that before. And so I think that you thought I was this like amazing, strong Christian because I was explaining to you all these new things that you've never heard about Christianity before. And he sat there for a minute. He's like, oh my gosh, I think that I really was idolizing you and that version of you because I did think you were like a perfect Christian, even though there's no way you can be a perfect Christian. And I'm like, yeah. And I think that you were holding so tightly onto that because of how you thought that I was perfect and that you want that Scotty back because that's like you feel like that's the only way we can have deep conversations or have a good Christian friendship or whatever. And I'm like, that's not humanly possible. And I'm like, I was a broken Christian. I'm always gonna be a broken Christian. I'm always gonna be a broken person. And I haven't really changed since college. I mean, I got more depressed, and then, like I learned my depression and what it is to me. But the Scotty you knew back in college is pretty much the same person I am today. I was never this, perfect Christian. I just knew how to talk about what I went through, and I did my research on it, and you just have never heard this kind of stuff before. And so that like made him like really open his eyes about that, and made him feel really good about it. And then I also was like, I feel like you overthink things a lot, and I feel like your kind-heartedness is a curse and a gift. Like I'm like, it's amazing. Like you love everybody. Like you're so kind to everybody. You're always like there for them, and like you are always wanting to do whatever you want for them. Like you can you like take a bullet for someone, even if it's like a complete stranger. And I'm like, but you also overthink almost everything about it. Cause he's like always telling me, like when you go have like your depressive like episodes and stuff like that, I don't know if it's my fault or what I should do if I'm not doing enough for you. And I'm like, Reed, you're not my therapist. You don't have to do everything for me. I'm like,
Right.
half the time I don't even know what's happening with me. Half the time I don't even know what's going on with me. I'm like, you're literally overthinking it every time, and it drives you insane. I'm like, it's amazing that you do that. Like that shows how much you care, but that's just gonna drive you insane. Like
Some level, like it's not his responsibility.
it's not. And like I said it. I think I said it in a really good way. I was like, Reed, I think I'm comfortable enough with you now that once I figure out why I'm having a depressive episode or why I'm super down for a week straight, once I figure that out, I feel like I can be comfortable enough to go to you, and then you can start helping me. I'm like, but if you think that you can help me without me even know what I need help through, it's never gonna work.
That's
And
true.
He's like, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, so you can stand like, cause he's worried that if he like stands back and like doesn't like help me or anything, like if I'm like super depressed and he just doesn't like reach out to me or he just stands back, he thinks that I'm gonna feel like he's like ignoring me or he's like something like that. And I'm like, no, I'm perfectly fine with you sitting back while I figure out what's going on so that I can come to you and ask you for help and stuff like that.
I mean, have you ever, like with every time that I've been in a bad place, not once have I ever thought I need my friends to step in. They're not helping me. Most of the time I'm like just trying to.
If you're in a place like that, you do not have the objectivity to be like, oh hey, I need help for the most part.
Yeah. Usually I'm just like, why do I feel this way? What is going on? Like I'm not thinking about friends or family or, oh, they don't support me. I'm just like, dude, why? I feel like shit. And what's going on? Is because typically it leads to like, is it because I'm not successful in a career or am I doing something like, am I not, being a good husband? Am I not being a good, sibling? Am I not being a good friend? Like it's things like that I'm typically thinking, not the other way around of like, Reed or Scotty. They're just not being the type of friends that I need. That's never.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever. I haven't thought that shit since like maybe high school.
Yeah, that's interesting that that's where his brain goes. He cares so much. That's crazy.
Yeah, like that.
It's insane.
On the table for most people, I feel like to be like, oh yeah, my friends aren't good enough.
I brought up the Sarah situation to him, and I'm like, example of the Sarah situation. You were overthinking that way too much, and you were, kind of being over dramatic with it compared to how everyone else was. And I'm like, this was a person that you did not know whatsoever. Like you had no
Obligation.
you had no obligation to do anything for them, but your heartedness was like, I'm worried about them.
I literally heard you're retarded.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
I was, yeah, no. I'm like, but your, over dramaticness and your caringness made you feel like I know I can tell this person's unstable and I'm worried for them, so I have to, try my best to reach out to them even if they block me. And he's like, yeah, I understand that. And I was like, Reed, Maddie, Reed sent me this ginormous message the other day. Like, it's humongous. It's like completely out of the blue. And I was like, holy shit, he has been holding on to some stuff for a while. And it completely destroyed my mood. Like, I was in a happy mood before I read it, and then I read it, and I'm like, well, my day's ruined.
Yeah.
Was it that day? Was it yesterday?
No, it was the day before that one.
Oh, okay.
Ayana, what's up? I'm sorry.
And I was like, holy shit, dude.
How you doing today?
And I show Maddie, and she's like, oh gosh. I'm like, yeah. So I start reading it, and Maddie's become really good at telling, seeing how my emotions change. And so I was reading it on the couch, and she was cooking dinner, and she kept coming over to me and checking on me. She's like, hey, are you okay? And I would just be dead silent, and she'd walk away, and then she'd come back and ask again, and I'd just be dead silent, and then she'd just lay down and hug me. And I was like, that's probably the best way to handle when I'm in when my mood changes like that. I'm like, Reed, you're not always gonna be there. I don't want you to hug me because that's weird.
You got any major plans today, Ayana? Or do you have
you
school?
asking me if
Ugh,
it's okay
that's
and I
gross.
respond to you, that doesn't mean I'm pissed off at you or I'm ignoring you. It just means I'm sitting there trying to contemplate what's happening. And Reed always says, he's like, Scotty, you're really never there for me, or you don't seem to care when I'm talking about my feelings and stuff like that, and you don't really push me to be a better person. I mean, I agree with that. I used to a lot, but I've kind of been sucking with it. But
Hello, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Hack?
I feel like Reed is always
It's man, school started today, but I got the day off because my drunk dad.
me, I have to take
What?
a while to think about
Okay.
what to say, 'cause I
Do you like school?
feel like it has to be the perfect response.
Is it a good thing that you got the day off?
I feel like I'm saying terrible information or terrible wisdom.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Reed, when he
Are you a huge friend of
spouting
huge friend?
what he's going through, and
I don't know what I was trying to say there.
mute,
Do you love school? I guess is the question I'm trying to ask. Jeez, I don't know what my brain just went blank.
thinking about what to say, but then you guys move on to a
I gotta sneeze. I gotta sneeze.
because you guys
Oh gosh,
fast,
I'm dying.
I can't say anything.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
I've never really thought of that, to be honest with you.
Is that no to you? You don't like school, or
I like because I've always commented.
it's a good thing? Okay.
If me and Maddie were having an argument, I have to walk away for
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm glad you get to hang out for an extra day.
And that's how I kind of go with deep conversations too. I have to
I used to just in school. I used to just ask my mom. I'd be like, "Hey, can I stay home today if I just go get all my homework?" And she'd be like, "I guess."
or I
That was all. It was super nice with that. Whenever she would say that, I love doing that.
help for that person.
Bless you. Thank you so much.
I mean, I kind of appreciate that.
Thank
though,
you very
sometimes,
much.
If someone comes to you and they're like, "Hey, I don't know what to do about this. I want help with this." I would rather have your version of "Oh, well,
Oh, I
Well,
need to
let me
make
go to the
potions.
street, let me
Let's
go
go make some water breathing
figure out
potions.
the best way to help you," as opposed to "Oh yeah, you'll be fine, man. It'll all work out." Blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
exactly.
Bless you times two.
Um,
We should call it every time I sneeze. If I sneeze twice, you should type BX2 or BYX2. Nah, just BX2. People be like, "What is that?" Had to be there. Bless you times two. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
main stuff.
I mean, maybe it could work. Maybe not. I don't know.
Push through. I challenged him to really kind of look at the overthinking that he does. Kind of take that under
1, 2,
control.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 2 more water bottles.
He does overthink a lot of things, and it makes him go crazy about it, and make himself worry if he did something wrong to that person or stuff like that. And then I also challenged him to stop wanting this
Okay.
Scotty, just want the Scotty
Boom, 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 boom.
Stop idolizing me, I guess. I don't know how he does, but that weirds me out.
It's interesting that you put it like that, because I have now heard both of them say that each one is idolizing the other.
Wait, Scott, who became a Christian first? Was it you or?
Sure. Reed's always been a Christian, right?
No, he was Catholic.
Oh.
They became a Christian. I don't know if that was like later in high school that he became a Christian or if it was in college, because I think that might play a huge part. Because
That's
like,
interesting.
because I can remember like when I became a Christian, and like you kind of you don't kind of you definitely do you kind of you I'm trying to find the words. Hold on. You crave, I guess. You crave someone that has, I guess, a very strong faith. And I think it's also interesting that, like, because you've experienced spiritual warfare, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what that looks like. You know what I mean? I've never experienced it, which is one of the hardest things for me to wrap my head around when it comes to the Christian faith, because I hear about it all the time, and I'm like, well, that's never happened to me. Or like when people are like, God talked to me in this way, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because that hasn't happened for me. Doesn't mean that he's not there, that he's not working within my life, right? But it hasn't physically happened to me. And so in those situations, I don't know what Reed has experienced entirely, but that might be one of the reasons why he, I guess, maybe craves, quote unquote, on, you know, old Scotty. Is like there's this idea, he's just like I want to experience, maybe not I want to experience, but Scotty seems so strong to have gone through that and still be a Christian, still
Right,
fighting.
he just made it out the other side.
Yeah, you know, still fighting those demons. I'd say on some kind of level on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's not like physically seeing them anymore, but just having, you know, maybe those memories, you know, things like that, and having to remind yourself that, like, the Scotty that you are, you know what I mean? And then you have Reed, who's in a place, and I haven't asked him this, so I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you could ask him now.
Hey, Reed! I don't.
Ask and you shall receive.
I don't get your alert. Why don't I get the alert when he comes in or anybody comes in? Anyways,
Maybe
doesn't
he's
matter.
like,
They were
Has to
asking
be.
me, they were asking, because I was like talking about how last night how like you're saying you kind of idolized me, or like you idolized the old Scotty, you thought he was the perfect Christian. They asked me who became a Christian first, because I didn't know you until my junior year of college. And you were starting to follow your faith walk. Were you like a Christian back in high school, or were you still kind of Catholic?
I've technically been saved probably since high school, because it's one of those things where, like we were talking about before with Maddie last night, and I was kind of talking with Katie about it too. Like, it is that relationship with Jesus. It's that faith in what Jesus did for us and dying on the cross, and kind of everything that means, and like choosing to follow him. And when I think back to like high school, the way I kind of lived my life, the way I kind of like set up my goals and aspirations, what I thought God wanted for me was kind of like going all down that path. And even though I didn't get that through the Catholic Church, it was kind of in my own findings of reading the Bible and with just like praying to God, I ended up finding it. I think I did get a reality check when I put too much faith, I think, in my ability as a soccer player, and not too much faith in the ability of God to kind of trust in him with whatever that plan was. And like I was talking about before, I think for me, the reality changed for me in high school when I felt God kind of like calling me away from soccer, and I was kind of trying to make every excuse in the world to stay in, or like with all my concussions, I still like wanted to play and take like risks. And it just overall wasn't a good thing. But I didn't really have community that I could lean on. I didn't have people in my life that I could like trust or go to for guidance, or like ask questions about my faith. So it was a very independent walk. College, when I feel like I kind of fell from my faith going into college, because I kind of fell from my identity and didn't know who I was, kind of refinding that and realizing like what Jesus means to me. but I think too, like going off what you said, like when am I saved, or like who became a Christian first. I think when I got to college, I had the best understanding of what that meant, and I continue to grow in that understanding. I think every single day I continue to more and more understand what that looks like.
Yeah.
And I think for me at least, when you're going over like we were talking about like the idol thing last night, I would almost word it a different way. I think it was one of those things where I put a lot of trust in community, or a lot of faith in community, and almost valued community more than I valued God in some ways. And the way I'll kind of explain it is like, I feel like there's times where I was praying, or like I was reading the Bible, but there are also times where it seemed like I was using the Christian organization as like a social function, or like a dating function, rather than what its purpose was for. And I think, like, again, becoming friends with you and becoming really good friends and then best friends throughout that process, I think you were a part of me taking advantage of like the social features, where even though we were like growing in our faith, I think part of it too was like I was trying to mix the two in a way that it's very hard to mix. I was trying to
mix though. Like,
I was trying to look at Scotty like he was a perfect person, when in reality he wasn't. But in my head, I saw it that way because the way we connected in the Christian group, like you're seeing people who are like, if someone asks you a question about your faith, or someone asks you, oh, what did you think of this Bible passage? And you hear that person kind of like go into detail what they think or share their faith, there's this bonding that comes from that, and there's this position of their heart where you see and you kind of feel whether or not it's reality, like, wow, this person is really living for God. This is like a great example of like what it looks like to be a Christian. This is someone who's strong in their faith. But you never really hear those people, or like when you hear pastors talk about that stuff too, you never hear about the side when like they're struggling, or you never hear about the side when they're not feeling good enough, that we all feel. And for me, I think I took all the positives that came with Scotty and his faith and looked only at the positives and didn't really analyze like he struggles just like me and like all of us. And for me, I think as like a safety net with best friends I've had in the past kind of like betray me, kind of like he did with it, having best friends betray him in the past. Not that Scotty betrayed me. Let me reword that real quick. But I think the dynamic was just something that wasn't real and couldn't last, if that makes sense. And analyzing that after college, especially since he was a year older and he got to be gone for a year, kind of changed that dynamic, but really morphed it into more of a, I would say, genuine friendship. Because it's easy to be friends or acquaintances with someone if you're in the same places 24/7. But when you have to actively go to their place or actively
you have to put a lot of effort into it. It's
want
not
to hang
easy.
out. Yeah.
I think that's what I was trying to say, is like there's a, because I was asking Scotty if like you felt that because you hadn't experienced, or I guess that was like why my question asked who became a Christian first, and like what your experience was, you know, in your younger, I guess, years of being a Christian, because he said that there was like this kind of idol or looking up to kind of factor. And I remember when I first became a Christian, I craved someone that had experienced something that I'd never experienced, and I wanted to look up to them and hold them to a standard that is impossible to hold them to. You know what I mean? Because I don't know.
On Sunday, one of Rob's messages too during like his sermon that really
to do something. Welcome back, girl. Welcome back.
He was also talking about too other aspects of.
I'm just digging up sand on it. That's all I'm doing. I have so much sand in it. We finished all the glass. All the glass for the entire base is done, and so now I just got to remove all of the sand, and then we're gonna take a look at basically at the whole base. So.
Anyways,
I've been doing this for an hour already, which is kind of crazy. So,
the Bible, because it's like a Bible.
And I'm like halfway done with this last quarter, or the second to last quarter.
Having that faith and following God.
Yeah, I'm about halfway done, so it's probably gonna take me about 4 hours to finish this, which is crazy to think about. That's mind-numbing to think about, but it's all right. We'll get done.
strong Christians. or
Yes,
can speak
Queen.
life
Oh my
into you,
gosh.
especially when you're not feeling it.
Yes.
I think one of the things in the past that I
And
felt,
I was watching.
you ever
I'm
have,
sure you
like,
know who
in
Philza
those
is. Do you watch
relationships
Philza
where
at
it's like
all?
girls will go for like a bad boy and they're like, I can fix him, I can fix him, I can fix him.
Oh, I got sponges. I can show you.
I think for me, I was at a place where I felt strong in my faith when I met Scotty, and I saw him as someone who was struggling, but I also saw him as someone I could desperately relate to.
Those
So
are all my
it was
sponges.
One of those things where I think being the part.
I
of
got
the
plenty of
process,
sponges, so.
see him kind of grow in his understanding of what his faith walk looked like, and
No, I'm
learn
definitely
more
using
about him and
sponges.
kind of
So,
understand
if we
Maddie, when you learn a lot about someone really quickly, or they're sharing all these details,
go up here,
you don't get that from other people. It's very easy to quickly be like,
I'm
"Oh,
definitely
wow,
draining
this person is
the
learning
ocean.
all this stuff."
So all the sand that I tear down here is gonna go to
this is his whole self, like,
creating the
he's
grids,
God,
the
or-
grid lines, and then I'll have to obviously go
his
that
testimony
direction as well.
like,
Once I finish that,
kind of when I first
then we'll
heard
drain
was
it.
like, wow, I wish kind of my testimony story.
You don't
was
watch it, but you know who he
mine
is?
doesn't
Okay.
seem like as exciting
So I was
as
watching a
what
video
one
called The
person
Legend
said. The
of
question him about was
Philza,
like,
and it basically talks about his whole
so
journey up until
you
now.
felt God, like,
And I mean, it's just one, it's an incredible
now
story,
know
but
God is
two,
God in your mouth, that God
I
and like just kind of like the feeling.
Hold on
he
one
had
second.
That was just so strong, where you had that like.
I'm gonna turn the guys down just a
I
little
kinda,
bit.
like, look at my life and would try to compare it and be like, I've had instances where I felt like God work, and I felt like
All right, there's
out of
that.
that just emotion put in my heart of just like that feeling of being loved by him.
All right, they're turned down just a little bit.
But I think
So,
like everything, we
but I was watching like the Legend of Philza, and I was looking at some of his builds that he's done over the years, and he has this really sick ring. There's this one build that he did with a really sick like earth ring in the middle. It's just super dope.
This guy's great. We're both learning our faith at the same time, and then like.
Philza Minecraft is so brave, 100%. The fact that he does all of it in hardcore is incredible. I'm too impatient to play. I don't think I'll ever be able to play hardcore.
Yeah, that was.
I'm
I think it was
too
good
bad
talk.
at
I
it.
think more than anything, I mentioned it briefly, but I don't think I put the words together correctly. That talk was more for me than it was for Scotty. I think for me, I needed to look myself more in the mirror and like really analyze me as a person of like what I expect from others and what they expect from me. One of the things that like we went over was like I don't let Scotty be there for me. I don't open up enough to Scotty. I don't let him play a role in life because I assume like I have to play that role.
I'm just too impatient to play hardcore. I do stupid stuff. I just do dumb things when I play hardcore, and so
I'll set the parameters so
it just
he
doesn't.
care.
I don't know. Hardcore is you got to be a special Minecrafter to play hardcore and actually survive.
But also too, like the other way I was saying is like, or what we were
Is
talking
that
about
see? I haven't watched any of his stuff recently, so I don't know. I don't know who Quackity is. I don't think I've ever seen Quackity. I'm assuming it's a Minecrafter. Is his content really good?
Or, he wanted to like go out drinking and go to the bars and like spend money.
Funniest shirt ever?
Like, I don't really like.
So you're telling me I'm gonna have to check it out, huh? Funniest shit ever. There we go. Okay. I was like, wait, he made a shirt out of it?
Thing I want to do right now.
Must be really good.
Anytime I want to hang out with Scotty, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to church Sunday. Why don't you just come and then we can go.
It's not like,
and
hey,
hang
let's
out
go
for,
for a
like,
walk around the
brunch
city or
and
go do whatever.
Can you not
like,
autocorrect?
like,
I hate autocorrect. iPhone is super. I don't know what type of phone you have, but the iPhone is so bad about autocorrecting. Like it always autocorrects, and I'm like, why? Why are you autocorrecting? I don't know why you're autocorrecting. Stop autocorrecting.
At least for me, really good. But more than anything, I think for me, the best part of the talk wasn't Scotty at all. It was actually the whole like Maddie side of it, because I think two things are happening at the same time, and it can be really hard to like understand what it is. I see God working in Maddie's life, and I see her like trying to figure out what.
Oh, okay.
And, like, put
Quackity. I'll have to check him out. I've never, like I said, I've never seen Quackity, so I don't know how
people around
how
her,
good he.
and I think she's looking at
Clearly, he's good. Like he got your attention, so clearly his content's good.
trying to like
Ooh, iPad.
not rush to the point she
The
wants to
old
get to,
iPad.
but it's like she's trying to figure out whether or not she's
iPad Mini.
Jesus Christ is like her Lord and
I don't think
Savior.
I've ever owned an iPad.
What does she know about Jesus? And I think as she continues
Yeah, no,
to
I've never owned an
learn
iPad.
more,
Is it worth having?
every single day?
You consider it worth having?
She's just gonna get get a better and better picture of
What is the Seine doing over
what that looks
there?
like and what that means for her.
I hate that the Seine goes through the glass. It irritates the mess out of me.
Super excited to
There's no reason.
kind of see.
Ugh. Did I have a question? Did she follow any kind of, I guess, faith or religion prior to meeting you, Scotty?
Her mother had to go to like Catholic church sometimes.
Okay.
So she had like Catholic experience.
Okay.
And then like her friend Lauren also would go to like this. They call it the culty church because it's like a very traditional, very old school church. That
Yeah.
Like, girls aren't allowed to get ear piercings and stuff
Oh.
like that.
Hmm.
And so Maddie
Interesting.
has that experience with the church as well.
Yeah.
But she's had said that she's always believed in God. She just never really like followed it or like kind of
Of course.
done anything with it. But she's always been very curious.
Okay. I was just curious. Not that I care if she does or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's her choice ultimately.
Yeah.
Honestly, need a new one. The charger on this one is slightly broken. The mic is broken and the screen is cracked. Go. Did you get mad one day and just chunk it?
The thing that last night when we were talking.
Yeah, no. Good thing it still works.
It was a lot of information she was taking.
I broke my iPhone one time. I shattered the screen. I got mad.
I don't know if it was.
I was in an argument at the time with my fiance, now wife,
Still trying to understand
and
what is sin.
I slammed my phone into a wall and shattered the
What's
screen.
sin, what's the importance of Jesus? What it means that Jesus died
Okay.
for sin.
I understand that. I understand that.
Bob on Sunday gave the message of like, do you love Jesus? He also said too, he's like, I know some of you brought people who maybe aren't Christian, and I just want to say, I love you. It was only a couple years ago. I was sitting in your shoes too. So take this message with love. And he's like, to understand fully like Jesus and his love for us. you
Oh, I
gotta
didn't bring a-
the concept of power, the concept of being away.
Ah, okay.
And the way he kind of
Don't you hate when that happens? That's one of the worst feelings, personally.
How big of a toll sin takes and how big of a deal sin is. And a lot
You
of
dropped a
times,
necklace on it?
um,
What the heck?
just like right off.
What kind of necklace do you
what
carry
sin is.
around?
Like, we'll look at it as like
Had to have been heavy. That's crazy.
Therefore, we're good no matter what. So we shouldn't do anything else. We can just.
Alright, I'll
use
put
it
that away.
all the time and, like,
Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab some water.
It really does. It really weighs on you, especially if like you view Jesus.
Not
as
some
a
small light one. Alright, let me go grab some water. I'll be right back.
What's best for this person? This person wants what's best for you. But you're actively going against that relationship. It tears you apart a little bit. Like, it makes you feel convicted. It makes you want to kind of explore that more. Like, hey, what does it look like for me to put more trust in God and put more trust in that instead of putting trust in like my worldly desires?
That's actually how did you describe hell as being away from Jesus or whatever, something like that? I think that's the most interesting description of hell I've ever heard.
Yeah, because people like to try to paint hell as like it's this fiery place where you're gonna burn for eternity, and there's the 7 layers and all that. And I don't look at because like one, we're not there, so we don't know exactly what it looks like. But like two, like if you really want to understand like what Jesus means, you got to think of like, okay, what would it look like if I didn't have that saving grace? And I think we can get a little bit of picture of our lives. Like Scotty, I think is a good example of this. Is like, what kind of person do you think you'd be, Scotty, if God didn't take away that demon in your life and you didn't feel that like warmness on your heart?
I'd either be dead right now or crippling alcoholic.
Yeah, and it's hard because again, not everyone wants to follow that, or not everyone wants to like think down that thought process. And a lot of people grow up in environments where it's some sort of Christian church, but it feels like a chore. It feels like you're constantly being judged. And I think what's important about understanding faith compared to religion is religion can be a great tool to like understand your faith. But if you're putting your faith in a church, or you're putting your faith in world, like just people in general, you are going to get let down because they are not God. And if you're putting too much trust in them, as like essentially in a way, kind of like I was saying about Scotty, where you build like an idol of these person or these people are essentially like a god you're following yourself, you are always going to be disappointed. It's never going to live up to what Jesus is.
Well, yeah, I mean, expectation is kind of weird like that.
Like, I think Maddie, she's already experiencing God so much that it's helping her a lot more. And so I think she's just pushing herself back because she doesn't know, she's never read the Bible, she doesn't really know how to correlate and connect anything to the messages. She just kind of gets the feeling of God, like, his presence on her, and she, like, absolutely loves it. So, like, I get her Bible today, and so I'll be giving it to her for her birthday. So I think once she starts diving into that, if she, like, wants to, and then, like, if she connects with the girls that you were talking about yesterday, I think, it'll all start to, like, tie together.
Yeah. I got a question for you too with that. So, with her now like trying to figure out what her faith is, and you like having a faith and like having this kind of like introduced to the relationship, do you feel a calling at all, or have you been praying on like guidance for her in the sense of like maybe if you're getting her Bible and she's gonna start looking at it, to want to like maybe look up the passages too and get some knowledge of like how to potentially answer questions that she may have, because she goes to you more than anyone else.
Yeah, I've thought about it. Like, it's really cool to like just dive in with her, like go along with her and see like her reactions to stuff as well. Like, I haven't really fully read the Bible, so going along with her would be cool. Even though I'll probably pass out reading the book.
I think taking little by little is a better approach, and going book to book from start to finish is gonna probably be really hard. I would recommend, if you wanted to, especially with her deciding like who Jesus is in her life, or like trying to understand who Jesus is, there'd probably be no better place to start than the Gospels. Like, just kind of start at the Gospels and slowly just go.
All right, I'm back. I'm back.
verse by verse,
I'm back and I'm better.
talk about whatever
I got my water. I had to get my vitamins and stuff.
Put together a guide or like show you like maybe
I physically cannot stand the feeling of makeup. Why is that?
But I think for her, the Old Testament can be a little overwhelming, especially too with
Yeah.
like a new Christian, and it's gonna make her think a lot about different things that aren't as important as what Jesus is. And even though there's importance in the Old Testament, it's important to like understand that God's working through it all. I think for her, being new to her faith, understanding Jesus is the most important thing she can do.
Okay, question.
What's up?
Isn't like I don't know, God, Jesus, whatever that is, in the Old Testament brutal?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very wrathful God in the Old
So,
Testament.
what's the deal with that? Isn't God supposed to be portrayed as like this super loving, super caring guy? That seems like kind of counterintuitive
Why?
to the style that you guys are preaching.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think he's not loving?
I mean, I don't have examples in the Old Testament to pull from.
I think so. One of the things that happens from what I've read of the Old Testament, because I've read probably half of it, so I can't exactly tell how far I am, but I think I'm like halfway, close to halfway. There's a lot of murder and death and like punishment, and
Like the Great Flood is one.
yeah, the Great
Yeah,
Flood
yeah,
is one.
stuff like that.
But there's also one where like where God has like specifically said not to do things, and what he's commanded has been ignored, and so he's killed people, like he's struck them down, right? And so it's one of those things where it's like really, really like hard as a Christian to look at, and especially explain to someone who's not a Christian, because they're like, well, he seems like a hateful God or a very jealous God, and it's like, yes, he is. But what parent doesn't want their child to listen to their instructions? Granted, your parents hopefully aren't killing you. I know there's some freaks out there. I think that's one of the hardest things for me as a Christian was like, but God does this and God does that and God does this and God does that, right? And then like, what's really, really interesting is like the comparisons between the foreshadowing that happens in the Old Testament, and like I'm not knowledgeable enough to be able to tell you which ones are what and what they foreshadow, but there's a lot of things that like is done in the Old Testament, and when you read in the New Testament, you're like, okay, so this was done so that this could happen, right? And
isn't that human? Isn't that trying to humanize something that is by definition unhumanizable? Like
No.
how are humans one to try to figure out what like a supreme being is thinking?
Can I explain this?
Yes,
Because I
I
think I
agree
can
with
add a
that.
little more context. So, you have what?
3 minutes.
Okay, we'll just wait until after then because it's gonna be a couple minutes. And it's super important in terms of like putting everything together. Because I think you have very good questions with that, and that is something that everyone has thought about at some point. But I think what's important too to understand is like there are reasons behind things that happen. Looking at just like an event or certain thing without having like the context of why it happened or the reason behind it, I think can get to make you think it's something other than what it is. I think a good way Oscar put that is when like a parent loves you, like if you on the outside, like let's say your kid can do so much better than they are, or they're capable of doing so much more, and you see them, you love them, and you maybe say raise your voice or like you like say something to them, and on the outside if they don't know your relationship, they don't know your dynamic. What's up?
Nothing. I was just humming. Sorry.
If they don't know your relationship or don't know the dynamic, they might see what you're doing as something that it's not. How you know how to connect with that person might be different than someone else, and them looking at the outside might be like, oh my gosh, that person is such a horrible parent, or like, what is that person doing? But they're not realizing what's going on in that moment. They're not realizing what the relationship is. And I think understanding relationally, especially with the Old Testament, what God called certain people to do, and that's why I'm going to go further in after the meeting, and I would love to kind of talk to you about it and get questions afterwards.
My only question that is super easy to answer for now is who is said to have written the Bible?
It's godly inspired, so there's a lot of people. So the Bible isn't. There's multiple. It's multiple books. So it's like 66 books, but it's
Many different authors.
Are human.
yes, and that's one of the hardest things that I struggle with because it's like what the answer is it's godly inspired, which is what it says in the Bible. It's godly inspired. So it's one of those.
Aren't most
it's-
of them God's like the disciples?
it's-
Jesus that wrote them.
Okay. There's no quick way to answer this. I would love to dive deeper into this, but I can't give you an answer that's going to justify what you think right now. And it's
Yeah, no,
doing
we'll table this.
disservice, to try to quickly answer it. So.
I think in most of the New Scotty. I think most of the New Testament is. I don't know about the Old Testament. I don't think the Old Testament is written by the disciples, but a lot of the New Testament is.
Disciples, yeah, we'll talk about it. So one of the reasons why I just got a little antsy there is every time kind of Stephen gets involved in Christian conversations, he very much is trying to like look for reassurance to not follow. I've kind of been picking up on, or like reasons to doubt or reasons to not believe. And one of the hardest things for me is like I always feel like I need to have a right answer for him, or I need to have the perfect answer, because if I don't give a perfect answer, I feel like he's not gonna like truly understand what something means. And to be honest, the best way for him to like figure out what that means is looking at the Bible himself, or being able
Right.
to go through it.
Right.
And I think him trying to get that through us, who are limited in our capacity to completely explain it, is doing him in a
A
way a
disservice.
But he sees it as like, oh, these are Christians who seem like strong in their faith and they can't explain these answers. But like in reality, like we're still going through our faith walks too. Like,
Right.
you can be a strong Christian and not know every single line of the Bible. It's just not a reality. But kind of going off of what he said or what he was asking, yes, the Bible is written by people, but is godly inspired. And the reason it's godly inspired is you see people throughout history of time, starting back from Genesis when God had created the earth,
Right.
and when sin was introduced into the world and how the world became fallen. And then from then, you see how God chose certain people. You look at the Abraham Accords, not the Abraham Accords, that's Trump's deal in the Middle East. You look at Abraham and his family of descendants, and how God called Abraham to follow him in faith. But what that meant for him was a life away from potentially what he envisioned for himself. But what he wanted was a family, and what he got was a family from God. But also, too, you see kind of throughout that Old Testament, you see these godly people follow God and what that covenant was at the time, which covenant is that deal you have between God.
Right.
Or that deal you have between things, people, coming together, agreements, that sort of thing, like a contract, essentially. So these people are making contracts with God to follow him and the plan that has, even though they can't see with their own eyes what that looks like. And I think the perfect example of that is if we look at Moses, the whole time when he was parting the sea and he was taking the Egyptians out of there when they're under the rule of Pharaoh. I think that took so much faith for them because they were doing a death walk. All these people who were learning about who God was, they realized like the conditions they were living in. They didn't want to live there, and they chose to follow God, even though when they were in the process of doing it, they couldn't see what God was going to do.
Right.
They couldn't see ahead of time that sea was going to be parted. But they put faith in that idea that God would provide for them because he's provided so far. And hearing these accounts of all these individuals throughout the Old Testament, throughout history, because it is history, whether it's Christianity or not, this is actual history. You can have scholars talk about it, you can have atheists talk about it. You get them to lay out all these things about God and have all this scripture they write and all these things they feel God putting on their heart, the things that God has done for them. But also what's important is a lot of people try to discredit then the Old Testament or try to say, oh, that really doesn't matter because we got the New Testament. Well, this is why it does matter. Jesus constantly quotes Old Testament scripture, and there's reasons why he does it, because it all relates.
Yeah.
Even though Jesus wasn't introduced yet, the importance of the Holy Trinity being Father God, God coming down in human form as Son of God, Jesus, and also the Holy Spirit. And all three of these things have such a big importance of their life, because even though God is the center of everything, he's the ruler,
Yeah.
Jesus is that way away from sin. And if you want to put it as like simply as possible, and like when we talk about sin or try to dive into what's a sin, what's not a sin, I think the way Stephen kind of heard me say it and it really hit him to think about it differently is away from God. And I can't think of any better example than the Old Testament. When we look at Genesis and we see instantly what happens when Satan pulls us away and sin is implemented into the world. And the best way to put it is that sin pulls us away from what God wants.
Right.
And being able to then see these people struggle throughout old times, and when you get to like the king section, you have all these kings. You have some godly kings, then you have some that aren't.
Right.
It's just a constant cycle of city being taken over by ungodly people.
But even the kings that were godly, you eventually see them. You see the human side of them, and I think that's incredibly important, because it showcases that even the strongest of Christians, take away even the Christian aspect, the strongest of believers have moments of weakness, right?
Absolutely.
And that in those moments, you can ask for forgiveness and God will forgive you, but it doesn't come without some kind of punishment, and I think that's what's incredibly important. And I think that's what I used to think that like I don't have to read the Bible. I can just go and go to church or watch sermons or whatever the case be, and that will be enough, right? And I've realized that like without taking the time and reading through the Bible, like I haven't finished it, and it may take me a couple more years to finish it, but the point is like just reading through and truly taking the time to take some notes and try to take in what you are reading. It is the most difficult book I've ever read, because it's multiple books, and you're the way that the English is presented is different than it is now, you know, and the ways that they write and the ways that they speak, and so, but reading through it has really opened my eyes to like what it truly means to be a believer, and like going through the history of being a believer has been really, really powerful for me personally, because there's just a lot to it, and there's like the perfect way of being a Christian, and then, but that's that you can't be a perfect Christian, and so you take bits and pieces, you apply them to your life, and you try to be the best that you can be, and I think that's what like a lot of people misunderstand about being Christian, is that they think that like, I think I've heard it multiple times, like, well, you're a Christian, you shouldn't say this, or you shouldn't say that, and you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't have done this, and it's like, well, yeah, but that could be, you could say that for anybody, you know, you shouldn't steal, you shouldn't do this. Well, it's not okay whether you're a Christian or not, you know, and I don't know, it's just really interesting, the view on Christianity as a whole, and just believers, someone who believes in something. There's this weird kind of like, people just start holding people that believe in anything to these super high standards for random reasons. It makes no sense.
And if you look at their lives, whatever standards they hold themselves to, they don't even hold themselves to.
Right.
And it's one of those things where I think that's where people get the impression of Christians, like they're stuck up or they think they're better than everyone else, when in reality, if you look at a Christian who's actively following their faith, I have never met more like convicted people in my life. People whose lives you think are going so well, but are just struggling so much because they feel like they could do so much more. They feel like they understand what they're struggling with, and they've seen the beauty of God. They've seen the beauty of that relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
And the more they dive into it, the more they learn about Jesus, the more love they feel. Because think about it this way: any relationship we have with people, the more you get to know them, the more you get to appreciate them for who they are.
Right.
And if you have a very limited knowledge of Jesus, it's still possible to feel that love and get that love for who Jesus is. But
Yeah.
if we're looking at Jesus objectively, whether it's his life here on earth or what he talks about, scripture he quotes, and all these things, you put them together and you really analyze the heart of Jesus. I think that is one of the most beautiful things here with his walk on earth, was looking at the heart of Jesus and what Jesus was doing. And we all have the capability of putting our heart in that position, especially through the Holy Spirit that we have inside of us.
Yeah.
And that's another like way to put it too, because if you're looking on just actions alone, and this is where like you might have people split hairs, or like, are actions important? Does doing Christian-like things matter? The answer is yes, they do matter. Does that give you salvation? No, it's following Jesus that gives you salvation. But
Right.
to think that you can have Jesus' salvation and then just sit in that salvation and expect your life to go the way that you feel God's calling you to,
Yeah.
no, you're going to feel lost, you're going to feel hopeless, and it's going to be hard to feel that Holy Spirit working in you. But I think a better way of putting, like, again, heaven or hell, or like, what's the difference between like a follower and a non-follower,
Yeah.
is if you truly felt the Holy Spirit work inside of you,
Yeah.
you know it. You know it. And it's so hard to like put into words what that is, but every Christian who's felt it knows the moment it hit, knows where they were, knows what emotions came to them. For a lot of us, it's we literally just got down on like our knees. We it was so overwhelming that we just had to be in the moment. We've never felt like more loved in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And from the outside, they want to feel that love, but they don't feel that love. A lot of times they feel like they're getting judged, or they feel like they're never gonna. Yeah, that's the hard part, man.
Yeah.
I think wrapping up, and when we do bring up, like, talk about the Bible, like Stephen, I think him understanding what like the Trinity means, why the Trinity is important with God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and like understanding what covenants were broken in the Old Testament compared to what the New Covenant in the New Testament is. Because that's something that like gets grazed over a lot of the time, is whether it's through Moses or through other people, God made covenants with these people, and these covenants, if you're going off of like just Old Testament, were so hard to live up to, because anytime they did anything wrong, they had to like animal sacrifice at certain tents. And
Right.
it was such a hard thing and it was such a lengthy process that you would have bad actors or people that would come in and want to be gods themselves, essentially try to lead these people away or say, oh no, this sacrifice is wrong, you should be doing this, to the point where you literally had Canaanites burning their children alive to the gods that they worship.
Yeah.
Because they thought that was going to bring them closer to God. And like the beauty in that, and what I find like so cool about things like that, is you can see compare and contrast in the Old Testament with that. If we look at Isaac, when they went up to the mountain to essentially sacrifice his son, God called him to sacrifice his son, and he went through with it. He was going to go through with it. He went to go sacrifice his son because he loved God so much, and God stopped him at the last minute and said, like, I don't know if it was like your faith has been rewarded.
Right.
Essentially, like, you put your trust in me over any worldly thing. I'm gonna guide, like, follow this guidance. I will not lead you wrong. Even if you question why I'm saying things, believe that like the plan I have for you is working as in progress. And to put in perspective too, like these leaders, they were not. A lot of them were not confident in themselves. They did not think they could do it. Moses struggled so much with the idea that he could lead these people out of bondage. And I think one of the coolest things around Easter time is watching the Ten Commandments movie, because you really get to see the heart of Moses and how he was called by God.
Yeah.
And he was called to lead these people. And a lot of these people, in the acts of seeing God work in their life on the way to receive these Ten Commandments, took a while to get these Ten Commandments, and half the people turned. Most of these people, when he was up there, started worshiping golden cows and started creating their own different gods.
Yeah.
And how quickly they saw God work in their life, but then instantly switched to something else. And when Moses came down, there's like the iconic scene of him like shouting from the mountain, and then putting his like staff down, and you see like the floor just like open up a little bit, and you see everyone like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I didn't mean it. I see you saw the presence of God, because like when he sees God in the burning bush, like it changes Moses' heart.
Right.
That interaction with God changes him to become someone who can better understand what that calling is and trust that God is working.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful, and it's so much, and I'm still learning so much. But the one thing that I've found is like, the more I dive into it, it just makes me even happier and happier, and wants me to provide more answers, whether for myself or even other people. Because it's like, I love when Stephen does this, because it really makes me look at my faith and what I believe in, and also allows me to do more homework. Like, oh, give me some questions you might have.
Right.
Let me see if I can answer it.
For sure. I've always, like, over the past few months, I've thought about like starting like a church watch party at my house, just because I think that'd be super interesting, because I don't like going to like physically leaving the house to go to church. And I think part of that is because I resonate. I think we were talking about Transformation Church and Elevation Church and, Francis Chan. And I think that if I'm going to go to church and I'm really going to get something out of it, I need someone who communicates in like an incredible way, or I struggle really hard to pay attention. And so I just prefer watching online than going in person, because some of the churches here, just the communicators aren't as good, and so I don't know. There's so much to be learned, and there's so much like there's also, but on like the flip side, there's so much sharing to also do, and it's just really interesting, I guess, to think about like what, like trying to balance those two, like being an open-minded Christian and learning and being able to take a step back and evaluate where you are, but also being able to share your experience and what you've learned with others, so that they as well can experience what you've experienced.
I think too, where we get lost, or like where things get lost in translation as well, is like we care so much for people,
Yeah.
and we feel like we want to save others. And
Right.
That's a great thing to see people get saved, but that's God's job. God calls us to love on these people
Yeah.
and live a life that reflects what God wants for us and what God's calling us to do.
Yeah.
And by doing that, our actions can be seen by these people, and you have opportunities for conversation where things can come up, where it
Yeah.
doesn't have to feel forced or shoved down someone's throat, and that's
Right.
beautiful. But on top of that too, I think a thing that gets mixed up as well is people take that idea of like you're judging someone else, or you're like looking at their faith walk, or looking at their not having a faith walk if they're not Christian. But like it gets flipped a little bit when you do become a Christian, because as Christians we are called to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for that, because there are so many people who are false teachers of the faith, and there's
Yeah.
so many people who will lead you in the wrong direction.
Mhm.
If you're not getting biblical knowledge and really like pushing into your faith, it can be very easy to get led astray.
Right.
And that's when it comes to like, I forget exactly what online churches we were talking about, but like, I think there's a lot of online churches that do a good job of getting non-Christians to see who Jesus is, to want to start that walk. But then along the way too, I think a lot of people, it becomes more of like a cultural thing or a thing to do or like a community to be a part of.
Yeah.
And they're not really trying to find knowledge themselves.
Right.
They might just be blindly listening to whatever the pastor says, or blindly listening to whatever the friend says.
Yeah.
And I think you can listen to what these people say, and especially if you view them as some sort of authority figure in your life. But I think it's also important to like check if their words do hold that meaning.
Right.
That's why I like our church, Orthodox Church, because it's some of the best sermons I've ever heard this guy give. But he backs it up biblically. He says, some people don't like it, but we're a biblical church. We're going to read through these Bibles. We're going to read through these Bible passages. We're going to read through these whole chapters. It's going to take us like 32 weeks to get through the section, because we're going to do little by little.
Yeah.
And trust me when I tell you, you'll be way less confused than potentially if you just like took a specific quote or
Passage,
scripture
right.
and then tried to make a whole story up off of it.
Yeah.
Some people are great storytellers. He's like, some people are great storytellers. I'm not. He's like, my calling is to feel God working in my life, read His Word, and tell you how like back then still applies now today.
Right.
It's not that distant. How we're not different than these people.
I like that. I definitely like my favorite online church, or my favorite, I guess, pastor is Pastor Todd from Transformation Church, because he's the one that I really understand I really understand his messages, and I also love how real he is. Because he tells you, he's like, I may hurt your feelings, and he's like, I'm not here to be your best friend. He was like, don't get me wrong, I will love you, but my job is to teach you. And he has a wonderful church based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I just love his passages and how he conveys those messages. And it's the only way, like, and I've thought about it for a long time. I was like, it doesn't matter where I go to church. I need, what matters, or well, I guess it does matter. I need to go to a church where I am able to learn the most and pay attention the most, and put a church that's going to allow me to push myself. And for a long time, I definitely was in a church. I just went to church just because I live in the Bible Belt. Everybody here, there's a church on every corner, kind of thing. And I was like, you just go because that's what everybody else does. And I was like, that can't be the only thing. It doesn't seem right, if you will, And so really searching for a place that you find, obviously you enjoy going to, but you truly find is teaching you what you need to learn. It's such a powerful feeling. A place that pushes you as an individual, as a man, woman, teenager, and also as a believer is incredibly powerful and also empowering.
Absolutely.
I am almost done with tearing down the sand. I can't even. I don't think I've ever been more ready for something in my life.
seems like everyone wants to do Among Us today.
I haven't played that in so long.
Right?
I don't even know how to kill people anymore.
I don't even know how to lie anymore.
I just want to look at my wall without sand by it.
Scotty, did you say you don't know how to lie anymore?
Yeah.
Bum, dum, dum, dum. I need to go drink my greens because the medicine I'm taking makes me constipated. It is not fun. Which apparently your body gets used to and it gets better, but it has been rough the past couple of days. I'm just trying to take a nice poo. Dun 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 dun. Alright, I'm changing the music. I don't want to listen to the music anymore. I don't want to listen to this. We're listening to Minecraft music today. I'm tired of listening to stream beats. So tired of it. No more. Not today. Fuck.
Why is Tobias' face so good again?
I don't know. There's a guy that I watch on Solar Baka. Have you watched him before? You should check out some of his YouTube videos. That man is filthy at Gangplank. I mean, he's a one trick, like a challenger one trick, but ugh. Dude is dirty with it. You feel me?
You dirty with it though?
Absolutely not. Definitely not on their level. Is there still sand on that side? No, I picked it up. Where's Ryan this morning?
Among Us.
What?
What? The fuck did you just say, Kay?
Among Us.
Do I need to beat you up?
Yes.
How do you want it?
In the ass, preferably. Dude, Scotty.
A man of culture.
So pissed. My internet was just dead ass out for 2 days on a fucking Friday and Saturday.
Ooh.
Yeah, you ruined my stream, but I'm pissed at you.
I'm pissed about it, dude. Cause I already saw the snap that you sent because it was like fucking preloaded or whatever. So I open it and I send it back and it just doesn't load. And I'm like, the fuck?
Bless your soul. Bless your soul.
Verizon's retarded. When I have my own house, I'm literally never getting Verizon ever.
I respect that.
It's horrible. It's so inconsistent.
Get AT&T Uverse.
That's honestly what I was looking at the other day.
I got 1 gig internet with it. It's fantastic!
It's what?
Fantastic!
Scotty just turned hella gay for a second.
Yeah.
What's wrong
What do you
with
mean, just turn?
that? What's wrong with that?
Nothing, dude.
You were just asking me to butt fuck you.
That
What did
is
I
true.
just come back to?
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
Who else gets to do that to Scotty?
Apparently there's
No,
a,
I'm gonna be doing it to Kay.
there's a
Yes.
yeah. Apparently there's a cheek splitting competition going on.
Have I Mapcade before?
No, you would have if we went to laser tag with me and Joel in the band, but
Dude, we fucking crushed that other
we
team, bro.
fucking crushed every
Dude,
team.
there were those pussies in the fucking sniper tower the whole time.
Yeah.
My god.
Cracks his fucking toe open and bleeds through his shoe.
And it's still fucked up. It literally, I've ripped it out so many times, it just never grows back in right.
Disgusting.
Well, cause it's dead. It's just like a dead piece of skin. It just fucking rips right out. There's no
That's
nerves.
so sad. What is
Excuse me while I go puke.
Why does his league say that he's playing
It's-
classic Blitzcrank?
It's a bug. It's been like that for literally a week.
He doesn't know what to do. He's tried to contact Riot about it.
Why do you think Riot's gonna do shit?
No. Well, because Charlie played an AI mode, but like the game never actually ended.
Wait, like, can people play with him? Like, can you invite him still or no?
Yeah, we did a test. We can still play with him.
Oh, interesting.
That's
Yeah.
weird. Riot's broken. Who would have guessed?
I know.
They're just a small indie company. It's okay.
200 years in the making, boys.
Small indie company.
200 years of fucking cringe.
Dude, I've been with Lissandra. She's my
Lissandra?
She's my new main. Now that I got
Yeah.
down to level 7, I'm going Lissandra main.
There you go. Lasandra's really strong right now.
Dude, I feel like people don't know how to like fight against her. Like, I swear, every game I just clap everybody.
Yeah, her laning phase is really rough if you don't know how to play into her.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I haven't had a rough laning phase yet. Like, I haven't gone against someone who really makes a laning phase difficult. Like, let's see, what else do I have this week? 14 and 9, 16 and 7, 12 and 4, 5 and 2, 11 and 6, 13 and 8, 11 and 9, 16 and 8, 20 and 6, 15 and 2.
Damn.
These
I'm
people
trying
have
to think off the top of
families,
my
dude.
head, I think the only main counters for fucking Lissandra are like Corki or Cassiopeia. I know
Yeah,
those.
I think I went against a Corki and I smashed him, but he probably just sucked. I actually had to go top lane once, and I was like, you know, fuck, I'm just gonna go with Sandra, and I'm gonna get Fiora. And I was like, well, I'm gonna get my ass pushed in. And the Fiora had 3.2 million mastery. And I'm like, alright, I'm gonna get real pushed in. And I made a few mistakes like the first couple deaths, because like I didn't really time the parry correctly, and so she would like be at like 200 HP as she parries me, and then I get fucking stunned under tower.
Yeah.
But then
it's
like the
pretty-
rest of
pretty
the game,
cool.
I absolutely just slapped his bitch in the face.
Yeah,
And I
Lissandra's
was
pretty
like-
broken.
I was
Well,
like,
not
holy shit, I'm fucking left.
You're just-
Fiora, man.
It's just you do so much damage and you can play so safe because you have your fucking E and your R.
I know, I love when junglers try to gank me, and I just like start walking up and then E backwards. I'm like, bye.
And you'll probably get Zonias too, so it's a fucking triple threat.
Does Orianna play well into Lissandra? I mean, just having like I feel like a control mage. Like if you're gonna play against a control mage, you have to counter with a control
Well, the
mage.
unfortunate part about that is if Orianna gets stunned or slowed at all, she just dies because
Yeah.
you get one bursted once Lissandra has like 2 items.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess like she can keep me away for a bit, but
Right.
once I can like get on top of her, it's over.
I think so. Maybe the counterplay is just roaming, like pushing and trying to roam.
No, you can't outroam Lissandra. And Lissandra can shove the wave so fast with
Yeah.
Q and W.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I love the Q blow
That's
up.
why people like to pick Talon into it because you just try and counter roam.
Right.
Yeah,
What about maybe Galio would be a good one if you're gonna counter roam, and then also having like the tankiness.
yeah.
It
Maybe
depends on the Galio because Lissandra
Yeah.
can just zone you off all your farm.
I'm
Right.
going against an Ari. This will be my first Ari game against Lissandra, so this will be interesting. I always hate going against Aris.
I mean, it should be fine. Just use your Q to fucking poke her down. You know,
Yeah.
you play Lissandra.
How much does Ari heal off of her Q?
It scales, so it
Oh,
starts
okay.
off like really low, like what, maybe 50. When
Hmm.
she gets her 9 stacks, and it gets all the way up to like 250 late game or something crazy.
Jeez.
And it just depends on the rune she goes as well.
Right.
I want fucking Prestige Edition Irelia, man. I'm so pissed.
I hate that champion with a passion.
I fucking hate, dude. I'm an Irelia
Ba-da-ba-da.
abuser.
I played against an
Maybe
our.
Kha'Zix?
We had 3 people with heal cut. And she out healed us.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it
I
goes.
was like, are you? Why did I buy this item? Like, why are we playing this game?
Well, because you got between Shield Bow and Bork and all that, you just can.
Yeah, it was
Diamond Kha'Zix?
ridiculous.
Why only against the Diamond? How do we have a Diamond Kha'Zix? Diamond 4, nice. Diamond 4 really beats that.
Well, my MMR is pretty high right now, so I don't know.
Dude, I love playing Singed. like even if you get Singed is just he's so useful mid to late. Like it doesn't matter how if you let the game lag, like you really have to curb stomp him like 07 plus.
My man's had like 12 deaths, and like their Wukong he went against was like fucking 20 and 4, and I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna get slammed. But like I was carrying as Lissandra, and then he became late game Singed. He just became like the ultimate support.
I was just
I have literally never lost lane to a Singed.
it's
I don't think it's possible to
it's
lose.
I mean you really have to be a dumb player to lose lane to a Singed.
Like all the fucking dude does is run around in circles and then go behind.
Yeah,
the
the
tower.
only Singed that I played against one really good Singed one trick that just actually knew how to proxy farm. And so
Yeah.
it was just really annoying because he would just proxy farm, and I would just have perfect CS under turret.
Yeah.
So it was ranked. So I just said, hey, you just want to farm it out, and he's like, sure.
It's one of those like
That's
such
what Oscar was doing. He like the Wukong was trying to get first tower, and Oscar literally took like 3 waves from him, so he literally had nothing to do.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
did
it's
you
not.
sat there?
This is Diamond Kha'Zix. So
So it was definitely one of those like Singe is such a like laning phase. He's weak against like 99% of champs. So
he put the ward in Pixel Bush, and he's back and gets Sweeper. That's what a jungler's supposed to do, but a lot of junglers don't do that.
oh, I finally get Minecraft music.
Hey, have you heard of the game Vampire Masquerade Bloodhunt coming out?
No, I've not heard of that.
It's like a vampire battle royale. It looks fire, like the gunplay.
Yeah, there's a samurai battle royale that right
Wait,
now.
why
I don't
is
know
there
what it's called.
pillar of sand there?
What?
Oh, okay, that's why.
Oh fuck, I didn't buy items.
Hate to see that.
Fine.
It's fine.
I TP to lane, and I don't miss any CS, so we're chilling. Alright.
And Urgot comes in and slaps your little tight booty.
I know he's a bitch. He's sitting in the fucking first bush. I mean, this lane is pretty sleeper for me until I get fucking any item. Cause this Urgot, he just fucking does so much damage.
I gotta go fix my shovel. No. Please, game, don't make me do it. Honestly, I could probably just buy some XP bottles. Oh yeah, Minecraft music, so soothing.
Alright, I'm gonna go talk to Steven for a little bit. See you
Alright.
later. Bye.
Rip the homie.
Rip the homies.
That's really cringe. Oh, you guys are fucking pussies, man. I love getting double flashed on. It's so cringe.
goodness gracious. Ugh. Wow.
This really is a diamond full player.
Is he popping off?
No.
Aww.
He was out of position. I don't know why he was trying to pitch your wave like that. There's a much better
He
way.
was trying to kill Yari because he had no health or flash, even though he's not even 6 yet. And he like jumped over that this time.
You hate to see it.
He's just built different.
I'm just happy that she didn't get the
He just built different.
She only heal from hitting me with her Q, or from minions.
No, so she stacks it off her minions, but it only actually applies if she hits a champion. Actually, no, it does. It works off minions too. Yeah, dude, there is this movie trailer I saw yesterday. It's called The Last Man, and it was basically like every man in the world except for one guy died, and like because all the men died, the world just fell into fucking collapse and chaos. And then there was a comment. Oh, dude, I'm surprised the comments were turned off. I'm not even gonna lie.
If all men
Yeah, see,
die,
like,
all
look-
women will eventually die, right?
Yeah, see, like Scotty, what do you do again? Like, what's the counterplay for
You
that?
don't,
Ahri?
especially if it's in a Mumu.
Yeah, you get. Yeah, I mean, you get a Mumu Ard, or no? Oh wait, it's Mumu fucking support. Okay, I like the angle.
And like the new Mumu with like the double bandages is disgusting.
Not happy with it?
I mean, it makes it more useful. You guys don't really need me, actually.
There's some Yes, his utility was semi-stupid. Now it's real stupid. There's just so much of it, non-stop. They should change his name to Lickitung. No. Yeah,
Bro,
it's a Pokemon.
stop.
Alright.
I ain't no bird, Sonny.
What, dude? I swear to God, that interaction is so stupid. How does that still hit me? I literally flashed. Oh my God, man, I hate Warwick.
Warwick is busted. If you snowball with that champ, you can snowball with him, and then he gets so tanky that you can't kill him. It's stupid.
Just the fact that his fucking Q follows flash is so stupid. I tried to time it right, but I did it a little too early.
Alright. there's sand over here, right? Oh, I despawned. Oh no. Let's go fix.
She's a gamer, bro.
A real pro gamer. Little late.
I wonder if I can kill her. Go all in everything.
That's tough.
Oh yeah.
Not a
What did
very
this
good way.
Talia just say? Ka is for fun playing?
I don't know. I tend to not listen to anything people say in chat. Because 9 times out of 10 it's probably something stupid.
Darn, I gotta go to the end and I don't want to.
Scott, you know what is gonna be hella hype? When fucking Diablo 4 finally comes out. Dude, it's such a big map, dude. Like, it's fucking huge.
It is huge. I'm so excited. But we'll probably be dead by the time it drops. Who knows?
Fuck this champ. My god. Oh my god.
I'm coming. Wanna bring him my way if you can?
Woohoo! You get it, you get it, you get it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna get it.
Scotty.
Just take it, just take it.
No, kill him, fucking.
Okay, I'll kill him!
I fucking hate this champion! He doesn't even have an item! Why is he healing so much?
His wounds, man. Holy moly.
I wanted to give it to you. For real, dude. That's what I'm getting after my plated steel caps.
Jesus. He doesn't have a full item and he, like, heals that much.
Yeah, he's just first wheeling Titanic. He's a fucking mean lord.
What a psychopath.
I know. I'm surprised Conquer isn't nerfed, to be honest with you. Well, they did nerf it a little bit for range.
The reason why I didn't kill him, like, that fast is because all the speed were on cooldown when I went
Oh.
up to him. And I was waiting for my Q to come up. And then he fucking bites me and he gets all that HP back and I'm like, wait, no. Is he gonna get
Yeah.
away?
It's like, this is how this is supposed to work out, bud.
Oh, high crap, man.
Why the fuck is Crabman mid?
I love you, good sir. I don't know why she walked into that. But that was literally, oh my god, I did that so perfectly. Like Ari ran up to me and ran into us. I ulted her, and then my growl literally runs right into her and fucking her up.
Yeah, I saw. It's pretty fucking golden.
I love it. Bro, she's so strong, dude. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Alright, let's finish this up. No.
Run, crab boy, run! Oh! You think I can kill both these kids' boss, Scotty?
Yeah. Ari is fucking pissed, man. Like, absolutely pissed. I don't know. Senna has Kraken Slayer.
Yeesh.
We'll see.
Okay.
Is Senna on y'all's team?
I'm gonna put this Herald down.
No, she's not allowed to.
Uh-oh. How many souls?
I'm fucking slapping kids right now.
But how many souls does she have?
48.
Yeah, once she hits 60, she's gonna be a real problem. Anything above that, it's gonna suck.
It's okay, Scotty, I did it.
92 even. It's okay. Under tower too.
It's okay. I want me to them under their tower.
Okay, I'm
Well,
not
it-
really,
I timed it perfectly because as soon as the Herald charged, it stunned both of them and I got my double E off.
yeah. It's okay, am I really, I'm never gonna be nerved once in my life.
I mean, I think she's fine, honestly.
You're insane.
You're sick.
Y'all are fucking psychopaths. Get the fuck away from me.
Fight this.
Maybe.
I got Ignite and Oblivion.
Oh, did you know they're gonna be buffing Zed jungle?
Huh? Is that a thing?
Sorry, buddy. Ooh. I think he thought he was gonna die from Ignite, but I don't think he was.
Yeah. Okay, oh yeah, so in 11.18, they're buffing Predator and Umbral Glaive, they're nerfing Aphelios, Ashe, Jace, Kalista, Lee Sin, Renekton, Thresh, Trundle, Varus, they're buffing Mundo. Oh god, this is a fucking list.
Why did Mundo need a buff?
They're buffing Mundo, Draven, Fizz, Gangplank, Jinx, Kai'Sa, Karma, Kog'Maw, Lilia, Misfortune, Morgana, Kiana, Jungle, Rumble, Sin, Soraka, Talia,
Kiana jungle?
Talon, Jungle, Zed, Jungle, Twitch, Urgot, Yone, and Anticipate.
All
Jungle Kiana?
Yeah, they're buffing it.
I heard was Singed and Yone, and that put a smile. Oh, wait, and Jinx. Jinx is fun.
Like, say,
That's-
Yone's getting buffed?
Yeah, I was gonna say they're just destroying the game.
What are they buffing him with?
I don't know yet.
Oh, so it means more trolling, and then Yone is gonna be even more broken, which is fun. Nice.
That's cute.
Dude, I swear to God, if I start seeing fucking Talia or Kiana jungles one-shotting me again, I'm gonna be fucking mad.
I'm gonna start playing Kiana jungle again, I guess.
You wanna talk about balance? That champion is not balanced in any
I
fucking
love
sense.
Kiana.
Kiana is broken.
Come on, Warwick, you wanna eat my little booty?
Only if you're offering.
That's tough. I thought that was gonna slow her enough for me to get her.
Taking 10 out of this area is not going to be fun.
It is time to go.
It is time to go. Chase after us. I dare you. You're done. Oh!
Oh, Scotty! Damn, bro. You just got Do I die to this?
Should've. Now you do.
No!
That's tough.
I tried to
That's
stun him so I could run away.
That is so tough, dude. 1400 take. That's so tough. I'm so mad about that, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know why I flew over here to sleep. I came over here to deposit sand. What? My brain, dude. What just happened? I don't think I have enough.
I will burn this planet to the ground before I spend a minute living with these animals. There's this one app that I have. It's like just like people just can start a podcast whenever they want. And this one was talking about like Dream and Sky does Minecraft in a fantasy. And I joined in and I said, you guys all deserve a harsh death. And then I just left. Thoughts?
Do you not like Dream?
The fact that they're talking about a Dream and Sky does Minecraft sexual fantasy is what is frustrating to me, bro. You know, I can't say that's top of the list for things I want to wake up and hear.
That is a weird one. It's a weird thought.
The thing that I like, who is asking for this? Like, who is demanding to fucking have
Nobody.
dreams? No, that's what I'm saying.
Not one. There's not one person.
Fair.
And if you are asking for that, shame on you.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, dude, Alec or Scotty, last night Leo was talking about fucking. I don't know what happened. He's like, dude, one of my fetishes is just get talked down on by like some British woman. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, fuck!
And then we started making fun of him. We're like, oh, you cheeky little British bunk, you little pecker, you little stinky whiner.
You fucking wanker and your titty little pecker.
And we're like, I bet you got hard on now, little brubby.
Oh my gosh, that's so cringy.
He tried to play it off the joke, but I don't even know if it was, to be honest.
That is super cringe, man.
It was giga cringe.
Oh, we gotta work.
Bigger cringe? What is it?
Giga cringe. Not just next gen, it's giga. Just like the crab is giga dead.
The
You know,
crab
that's
is
good
giga
shit,
dead.
Warwick.
Yeah? Got enough of this shit.
Oh, what's up, bozo? Oh, what's up, bozo? Come here. Yeah. You fucking run.
Yes.
Guess what? I can Q to a minion. Oh, this fucking bitch.
Bozo the clown.
I outflashed this Warwick so hard. My god.
He's fucking pissed.
We're working through the night, boys. We are
Yeah,
working
Scotty,
through the
Scotty,
night.
Where are you TPing to, bud?
Fuck! Where you going, baby? Where you going? Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh fuck me. Go throw! Get her! Blow her up!
Talia? Oh, okay. I mean, Warwick's doing fine. Urgot, you're 2 and 9, bro. You're a little witch rady. Finally, I can pee now. Pee gang. Oh. Lame.
We have mid diff in the lobby, mid diff in the lobby.
We have an incorporated mid top gap in the lobby. Solo
Mountain
lane.
diff, mountain diff.
Truce. Canyon diff.
I literally, that was the first time I've ever heard that. Someone used to like mountain diff mid. I was like, what?
Yeah. It's like I said a fucking Grand Canyon diff in the fucking bot lane.
I was like, I clapped someone that hard that you gotta consider it a mountain diff.
Mm.
Come on, because a mountain top diff.
It's just fun. That's all it is. Pure comedy
Yes.
is what it is. Watching someone cry and then type in chat.
Singed top is the equivalent of Yumi support. Because it's basically you don't do anything. You just fucking you press a button and you run around.
Not my fault. People are stupid.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't chase singed.
It's the number one rule.
And people forget that for some reason. And then after that, once you go late game, you just become a tank support that is just, you really just become a playmaker. You run in, you eventually sacrifice yourself for the cause, but you watch as the team gets blooped.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, I did this, I did that. Like, no, whoa, hold up now. I didn't see anybody else initiating. Which is why, I forget who, there was a Chinese player that took Singed, became number 1 in China with Singed.
What's a Scooby-Doo?
Coming after you. Gonna solve that mystery. Yeah, that's when times were simpler. When there was two genders, you know?
Yeah.
Oh wait, so Scotty, you know the Joe Rogan video of like him in the ice bath for 20 minutes, like the face he's making? So I saw, oh my god, dude. I laughed I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. I saw a, shit, I don't know if I have it saved. Hold on, I need to find it. Did I send it over Instagram? I did. And it's like, the title is Work Colleague. Just FYI, I'm wearing gender beads. They show which gender I'm currently feeling. And then it's me trying not to get fired, and it's Joe Rogan in the top. Like, bro, at first, they were like, we can change genders. And I was like, they changed 50 times. Like, I don't care. Like, I've never had a problem if someone's like a transgender, like whatever you want to be. But just make your decision and just stay with it. That's all I ask.
Yeah, or like, just don't shove it down my fucking throat.
Yeah, like,
Gender.
like, you can be a feminine guy or a masculine female, but you can't fucking choose, like, I'm a male now and I'm a female now. That's not how it works.
I feel like genetics has something to say with that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a man. Oh, really? Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at the genetics. Whoa! If we look at the genetics, oh, so genetically you're a woman. Yes.
Yeah, that's and then people are like, but sex and gender and all this shit is different. I'm like, bruh, why is we making this so
Yeah.
complicated?
Y'all hurt my head. Like, if you want to
Like-
act like a man, be manly. Be manly. I don't care.
Hey,
Yeah.
why have you been playing Destiny 2 so much recently?
Because Destiny is really fun.
Why?
So they've been teasing a character for like the past 2.5 years, and they finally fucking
Yeah, the Witch Queen.
yeah, Savathun. So it's basically they've been teasing Savathun forever, and now she's in the game, and now Witch Queen is coming out in February, which is like the fucking
Mm-hmm.
main chorus of what everyone's been wanting from Who am I playing against?
It's gonna be like, what's it called? The Taken King almost expansion from D1.
No, but better. Literally better.
I want to like Destiny, but it's so hard to get into it. I don't know what the fuck there is to do.
They do. When's the last time you played it? Well, that's fair. They've added a lot of shit. This season they're changing a lot of shit. Like they're doing what they're calling Void 3.0, which is basically reworking. They're gonna start reworking all the light subclasses so that they're like the darkness, like where there's aspects and different shit.
Like, do you even play with anybody, or you just play with dogs?
Well, when I'm just doing my pinnacles, like I'm just loving up my character, I do that by myself. But when I do raids and nightfalls with the boys,
With boys.
my clan.
Raids are
Like
hard. I've done one Destiny 2, or maybe it's just a regular Destiny. I can't remember. I've done
Like
one raid.
it was 2 days ago. I did all three. I did Volta Glass on all three of my characters. That was fun.
Like, I want to get into it, I just don't have people play with. I don't know what to do.
Well, you're lucky, Scotty, because in about 1 hour it's the weekly reset.
Hmm.
Do you have the season pass?
Beggars can't be choosers, Scotty.
Have you ever bought the season pass before? Well, that's fucking why. If you don't buy the season pass, Destiny 2 is useless. It's like a battle pass. It's $10. It's like your progression. You level up. You know, XP. You get rewards, and that's how you get all your fucking special shit. And that's how you get cool stuff.
That's how you
'Cause
love yourself.
Without the season pass, it's like imagine if you played. I'm trying to think.
We did it, boys. I finally mined up all the sand. Oh, the wall is completely done.
Sonny, when you get the season pass, it gives you a shit ton more missions and objectives. So
They made the game pay to win, is what it sounds like.
no, it's not pay to win. It's just if you want to get the full experience, you kind of need the battle pass. Which is much as some people might not like that, I've never had a problem with them doing that.
It's pay to play, Scotty. All right.
Because it is a free game. They made it. The game is free, so.
Why didn't I get a refund from my best friend show?
Yeah, dude. I fucking spent like $150 for the digital deluxe edition.
Yeah. I don't know. I want, because that new Battle Royale comes out on Tuesday, and then.
Today is Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, then.
Oh.
And then at the end of the month, New World drops, so I'll be playing that.
Holy crap! I finished.
Yeah. And that's what I like about Destiny is you can put like 2 hours into it, or you can put 20 hours into it, and you'll still enjoy it. At least for me. But I've been following Destiny. I mean, I played Destiny 1 so much.
I did too. I love Taken King. I think it's fast and I'm like,
Dude,
Destiny 2 is just
the fucking entrance where it's like the. Oh my god. I need to watch the trailer again later. My god, it's so good.
I have replaced everything with glass, and I've never been more happy in my life.
need to
Dog, it took so long to get to this point. I can't believe I've done it. That as well, but I can't believe I can't believe you've done this. Oh my gosh.
Guys pinging me 10 times for fucking stealth look. Like, I know. I ward my buff. Yeah, cringe lord.
I've never gone against a Syndra as a Sandra. I don't like it so far.
It just has range. On. There we go.
I actually don't know what to do now. I just kind of want to sit here and look at the wall.
Your shot that actually hit me. Oh, cringe.
After 7.12 days played, we've made it to this point. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord.
shoved under a fucking turret with a big ass wave. Fucking hell.
Hey, man, you were going pretty fast. I was trying to catch you to tell you I heard you say thank you before you pulled off.
Thank
And
you.
I ain't get a chance to say my pleasure.
Muted.
And it's my job to make sure every customer is satisfied. So my pleasure, ma'am. My pleasure.
Wow. Well, I guess we go back to placing sand. Alright, let's do that. Alright.
Dude, this guy comes in at the worst fucking times.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Go fucking farm, kid.
9 shoulder boxes worth of sand. Okay. Well. Actually, I should keep a bed on me.
Dude, yeah, I can't play against her.
She healed too much?
No, I don't know how to fight against that Syndra. Like, when I play like Yone, I'm up in her face 24/7, but as the Sandra, this is so weird.
Yeah, you really have to respect this one for Syndra.
Like, as Yone, I just fucking press E, I get up in her face and then I back off. With Sandra, I can't do that.
So my pleasure, ma'am.
One of those skill matchups.
Yeah. She's 47 and like 27.
I mean, one good way is if you can keep her shoved in, that always helps.
Doesn't know how to gank, he's just toxic as fuck.
That's true.
Okay.
What do you want, dude? Do you not have a ward?
Dream, 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 dream.
What? He wanted me to ward the bush! Holy shit.
Getting upset, Scotty?
The guy told me to ward his bush because he was afraid Graves was sitting in it. I ward the bush, and he pings me a mystery sign going, great vision. I'm like, what do you mean? He's not in there. He's like, GG. And then mutes everybody.
What a weirdo.
He is a weirdo.
People hurt my head.
Like, holy fuck, man.
Man has an ego in a norm game.
Gotta love it.
Do I though? Do I have to live with them?
Probably not.
Oh, actually, this one.
What time is it? Almost 11:30. Wow. I guess closer to 11:15. That felt good. Oh, that stretch felt good. Dream, 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 dream.
Yeah, same.
Banana, banana, na, 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 na.
I'm taking his red rep just because he may ping me now.
Yeah, do it.
Wait, Scotty, come here. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Because I don't have mana.
What are you gonna do?
Taking our Lee Sin's fucking blue buff. I mean, he's literally. And now he's dead too. He's literally gonna die. This guy is just a fucking living clown. My god.
Wait, why does he have lucidity boots?
I don't know. Maybe he just. Yeah, wait, the fuck? The whole point of having Lucidity boots is that you fucking actually move around the map.
What an absolute fanboy.
Oh, we clowning, cause we
Oh,
a
this dude's so
boy.
mad. Scotty, look at him. Look at him.
He's gonna be your lane! Oh, he's so mad! Oh my god, he's fucking livid.
Is he running it down?
Yeah. Fine, I'll just go get shit done by.
Man. That's always fun. Wait, I already cleared this out, didn't I? Yeah, I would have already done that.
Dude, can these people get off my cock?
No. Lee Sin's a degenerate, bro.
Have you not gotten a noise complaint?
Holy fuck.
go catch at the Karthus.
Yes, go kill the person who has a gold bounty, not this 0-6 Karthus.
Cartharoni.
Sorry,
Cartharoni.
brother.
I killed that fish.
Hey,
We don't need a fucking jungler, bro. That who needs him?
I'm gonna be pretty candid with this one. Pretty straightforward. There is nobody.
This guy's so
Truly, there
butthurt
is
over a
nobody.
Gronk
I
and a
don't even
blue
care
up
if
that
you
he
say
starts
that
running
as
in
me.
town,
I don't
bro.
even care
Like,
if
who the
somebody on
fuck
Reddit
are
says
you?
it.
What's
I don't
your
care if
ego?
someone says it on Twitter, Instagram. If you think
Like,
100
I
Thieves
can-
doesn't care about
Like
winning,
if it's a ranked and I'm
You're
just
an
fucking
idiot.
stealing your shit for no reason,
You're an
like
idiot.
sure, that's fucking
I mean,
cringe.
look at
But,
the
like,
moves
you're
that
a
we have
dickhead.
made in League of
Didn't you
Legends
spam ping me 30
Valorant,
times to ward when
and
I
Call
already
of Duty
planned on warding
in the
anyway?
last year.
And then I say, don't call me an
How,
idiot.
how can you argue
Or don't treat me like an idiot,
at
and
this
then you
point?
just muted.
How?
Dies
How-
once, because he has no lane prio mid or top, GG.
Right?
Here, let's go to this shit right here.
Oh, it's kind of bitch. Oh, wait, it's still him.
Oh, Graves just fucking hopped over the wall. Wow. It's okay. We should do this. So we got Rakon. What else, guys? Damn, I'm fucking clean. Too bad this Lisa got the kill. I'm going bot lane, or yeah, bot lane to clear out the wave. I think Lisa's actually gonna help you out. He's like, guys, I stole 2 kills from the Riven. Now my KDs look as bad.
Hey, I'm actually good.
You're fucking shit. It's just funny. I'm not even upset, honestly. I think it's funny.
Man, they surrendered.
Wait. Oh my god. No shot. They actually surrender. I'm reporting this Lee Sin. He's so toxic.
Big old toxic.
Windows 11 releases on October 5th.
Windows 11
Negative
was-
attitude, intentional feeding.
Windows 11 what?
Windows 11 is an absolute joke.
Is it?
You've seen what it looks like, dude?
No, I haven't. This is the first time I'm seeing it.
It literally looks like a Mac. It's so bad.
They're trying to be Apple now.
Dude, Kate, I have a friend in Destiny 2 who's out.
Bog. I mean, I'd say I have like 2,000 hours between Battle.net and Steam combined. Well, but you gotta think, I played Destiny 2 since the day it came out. Like, I come back off and on. Like, I played for like 4 or 5 seasons straight, and then I took a break for a little bit, then you come back for a couple seasons. It's like a wave. Cause let's see, on Steam, I only have about 500 hours. Because Battle.net is retarded and keeps fucking over all the games that are actually good.
Well, what's the Scooby-Doo?
Coming after you. Gonna solve that cock in the ass. Goldfish are so hard.
Hey Becky, yeah, what's up? Did you did you hear about that new snack? What? Goldfish? Oh. That's not where I typically put it, but I'm not. This is a judgment-free zone, Scotty. If you like a fish swimming in your guts, go ahead. That sounds way worse than goldfish. Never mind. I know. I'm sorry. Oh, I need to look up something. I'm curious to know. Banana, 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 banana.
Not again. Please, not again.
I know. Let's find out.
Oh.
Huh. Huh. They just think there's a menace.
Hee hee, ha ha, ho.
Is this the same gang playing? Might be.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony! What's your name? Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! You better not bring my mother to this! You better not! Oh! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! What?
I'll be back.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony. What is your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel. You know what I did last night? What? Have you not seen that video?
I have to go Yone against TF. New beta is September 7th.
My gender reveals on September 4th.
What?
The gender reveals on September 4th.
Yeah. Heather knows what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did she give you any idea how excited she was for the gender or no?
Nope. The old poker face. I said bet. I told her, I was like, I don't want anyone to know other than people that need to know for the for the gender reveal, because if I find out, I'm gonna be pissed. I can't wait for Saturday. Which, speaking of, I need to send that gender reveal invitation to people. Hold on. Who's in my town that can get it?
I'm in your town. Can I come?
Of course. Of course, of course, of course.
Dude, Steven and Rita been talking forever.
What chat are they in?
I have no idea.
Holy moly. They don't,
Welcome to Summoner. Oh, I'm so happy.
they don't want to hang out with us anymore. Understandable.
This is the same Gangplank, by the way.
Is it?
I'm a fucking psychopath. I'm a menace to society.
He's so happy.
I fucking flash predicted him. Oh my. Oh. Hey, Stouty, how did you feel about a gank? Alright, let it shop if you can.
Oh no, what's this? Oh shit.
Hey, the counter gank is here.
Nice. That game is beautiful, sir.
I mean, it's a counter gank though. You would have 100% died if I wasn't there, so fuck it.
Shut up.
You would have though. You would have been so dead.
I know, I would have been so dead.
Just kidding, you can PayPal me after the game for the carry.
Oh yeah. You're not carrying me in rank, so I'm not picking shit.
Dude, your fucking elo is next gen, man. Like it's so. Even when we both play so well, it just doesn't matter. Because the people that are in your elo with you are just so much, so bad. Like, cause you always do fine.
It's a hard life.
It's a hard nut.
Or not.
This TF is so passive because he knows I'll fuck his shit up.
Yeah.
He comes close to
I mean,
me.
if you're playing Twisted Fate right, you just play like a bitch till you're level 6, and then you just go gank other lanes until you're fed. He's pretty mad about that one.
Shit, no, little walks in the lane. Cute, ease, and then just nice before goes. I'm so sad.
Alright. I'm done streaming. I don't feel like placing sand